Let's go.
No.
Go live.
What was that noise, Jason? What was that?
It was me. No.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. Am I coming in scratchy?
No. You just made a noise that we're like, what was that?
Oh, me saying no? Sure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We're like, whoa, what the fuck was that?
I'm finishing my blue cheeseburger from Red Robin. The last time I ate at Red Robin, which Super Bowl was it where they scored the first 2 touchdowns in like a minute and a half? Which Super Bowl was that?
I don't remember. I haven't really been paying attention to Super Bowls lately.
Well, it must have been about 15 years ago because the last time I was at a Red Robin, they did the kickoff return. They returned it. They scored, and then the next team they scored right on the next punt. And I think that was one of the only times that's ever happened in Super Bowl history.
Huh. I honestly don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the title of this?
Do you have BDE? Or watch out for my BDE?
Ew.
Yes.
Look out for them.
How are you, Jason? Good?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why this always gives me a black screen whenever I fucking do this. Like I always have to do it. I always have to do it twice. The Kumu app.
Yeah, I know. It's annoying.
So weird. Like, I always feel like something's broken or something.
Yeah.
Hey Ron, you said there's another show coming out like in December.
Yeah, Filipino Fork.
In Sacramento.
Yes. What's up? You trying to make it out?
In Sacramento. I don't know, because that's my son's second dose for the vaccine. We'll see.
What up to my Kumu? What up to my Kumu audience?
That's my son's second dose for the vaccine.
What up to my Kumu? Hello. What up to my Kumu audience?
Ooh, who's echoing? Who's got a?
Jason, make sure you turn your echo off or the volume down.
Oh shit. Okay. Hold on. That's me. Okay. Better?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff going on apparently.
What's up, guys? This is a Hub 408, episode 117, right?
Yup.
Do you have BDE? Or watch out for my BDE? We came across this. When we were doing.
I think it was we. Yeah.
We saw a little thing on the side where it said what was the actual article? It was about Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Talking about Ariana Grande having, love for this dude at the time they were together, but he exudes BDE. If you guys don't know, it's big dick energy. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a big dick, I think, in order to have this type of energy. But
right.
It's pretty much, Waldo, it's pretty much confidence, correct? It's an aura.
Yeah, it's like you do have a big dick and you're not afraid and you're just gonna walk through and know that that you're the baddest motherfucker out there, kind of thing.
Michael Jordan, I would say. Is that?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that he got super honestly, think about it, right? LeBron started becoming, getting into the conversation of being called the GOAT, and he was like, nah, fuck that. And then the 30 for 30, Save the Last Dance, came out and basically made it all about himself. And listening to what Scottie Pippen talks about, it's like I don't know. Is he?
Man,
Is
fuck
that
Scotty.
really? Is that really big dick energy, or is that just him trying to grasp onto the fact that he's Michael
No.
Jordan and he wants to be the best in the world and won't let anyone else share the spotlight? I don't know.
I think
Fuck
he has
Scotty,
to have
dog.
it. Everyone wants to be Michael, right?
Fuck
At one
Scotty.
point. Everyone wants to be Michael. I'm just saying he exudes that BDE. Somebody else that would say exude that BDE, examples that they talked about in that article, was somebody like an Idris Elba,
Sure.
Robert Downey Jr. On the
Yeah.
female side, Jason, they talked about, this one was crazy because even Steve, shout out to our man Steve, he's not here, but he was like, in that article, they said even somebody like Kate Blanchett
Mhm.
on the female
Yeah.
side,
Or Helen Mirren, maybe.
or Helen Mirren.
So here's the way I look at it is that you don't really talk about it, right? You don't really talk about it. You let your actions, do the talking.
Who exudes that for you guys? Jason, just off the top of your head, who exudes that for you? It could be anybody on earth.
What's his face? Every character in any movie or TV series that Gerald Butler portrays.
Gerald Butler is
Yeah,
your choice.
Not him per se, but the characters he plays in movies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Like a Leonidas, or like a, who's the guy he plays in the Olympic or whatever. All those.
The Secret Service agent guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just going
Sure.
around the room. I would say, well, I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but Steph Curry.
Yes. He has to.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, I would say.
Sure.
Joff, what about you? Who's somebody that he might be in your club, Joff? He might be in the club, in your club already. So who is it?
Dude, you already know, fool.
Yeah. Everybody in the club.
Well, the folks at home might not know who you're talking about.
Fucking the transporter, dog.
Oh,
Jason Statham. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
can
I
see
thought you
that.
were gonna go with the other guy.
Team captain. BDE
Ben,
team
Ben
captain.
Affleck. Ben Affleck.
Does Benny got it?
You gotta ask JLo that, dog. I ain't trying to get in their personal shit.
Yeah, okay.
What about you, Waldo? Who's somebody off the top of your head that kind of exudes that?
I don't know. Along the same line as like Steph Curry, like Klay Thompson.
He has that BDE.
Like he doesn't really, yeah, like you don't really need to say you have a big dick. You just unzip your pants and flop it out, right? That's really what it is. I mean, that's part of the thing, right? Like Pete. Okay, so the original article, the whole thing was that it was Pete Davidson, right? And he never said anything about it. Other people talk about it, right? Like Ariana Grande kind of alluded to the fact that he's hung like a horse, right? I mean, that's kind of the thing, no one else, you don't talk about it yourself. You don't bring it up yourself. You don't even like acknowledge that that's a thing with you, right? Someone else will be like, yo, this dude's got a huge dick, right? Like other people will basically see it and go, this guy is quietly is confident about it and doesn't need to talk about it. And I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be like. So someone else is. So I mean, who are some people that other people, who are some people that other people will bring up, but they'll never talk about it themselves. And I think Klay Thompson is the most underrated.
What up, Danny?
Well, one thing that you brought up was just the physical part of it being out there. But that might not necessarily be true in all cases of like, that's the energy. It's just, I guess the way that I mean, Joffrey, how would you describe that swagness, you know what I mean, of a guy that exudes that, of Jason Statham?
1 second. Denny was asking, what's BDE?
Big dick energy.
Okay.
And this is what we're trying to explain to y'all. It's not about having a big dick. That's what we're talking about, because this BDE could go for both men and women.
Yeah.
You know, so Joffrey, what are some of those, like what is the panache? What is the keys that Jason Statham would, he may not necessarily be talking about. Well, he ain't out here saying that he has a big dick. You know what I'm saying? And we may not know the truth except for his lovers. I'm just saying, but what are those qualities about him, Joff, that exude that get him in your club? What is that? What is that, dog?
Yeah. Now he's just, he's chill. You just chill. You just fucking, he just handles shit. He's not out here fucking begging The Rock to fucking appear in this fucking movie and shit.
Ooh, okay.
Oh! You
Talking
gotta
about talking
bring
about
Vin
fucking
Diesel beef.
Pablo. Talking about promise to Pablo to make a fucking Fast and the Furious, whatever, fucking 11 or fucking 25. I don't know. Fucking, I stopped watching Fast and the Furious in, I think, 6. The moment that motherfucking car jumped off the building to another building, I'm like, dude, I'm out. I'm out of this. I'm out of this series, dog.
All right.
But
But you're talking about the coolness, right?
but it was on a decline, so it would have made it.
Still, man,
Physics.
I'm out, dog. Yeah, just confident. It's just you just have that, I guess, aura that it's just that quiet confidence. It's not really cocky. You just don't have to verbalize anything. You're just there, and you just handle shit.
Jason, for you, what are some traits that, you brought up Gerald Butler, but let's just bring up other people or maybe somebody else, an example. But what are some other traits that's like that show
So
that's a man. That's a man.
Like you have to. You gotta put out that self-confidence. Like people feel that, right? Your self-esteem has to be super high on this too, because you just can't be like, I can't. You can't. You just can't be. How do I say?
You can't be Eeyore, dog.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't be that. You can't be. You can't be a sloth. You gotta be like
Take initiative.
like
You can't be Eeyore, dog.
well.
Take initiative.
Oh, okay. Joe says take initiative. So yeah, I mean, it's more like your bravado, so to speak. Like
All right.
people can see it without you saying it. Like he could carry himself like very confident. Like you can't see any like whether this person has any faults, you can't see it. It's like they're always trying to hide it with their bravado, I guess, if anything.
Yeah, it's not like you're projecting too. It's like,
Yeah.
Because you can tell if somebody's just like projecting. It's like he's faking.
Like what's his face? Conor McGregor. He shows his off too much.
Yeah.
Way
loud.
too much.
Too loud.
Yeah.
Too loud.
Yeah.
You don't have
No,
to.
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's people like that who have to basically hype themselves up, And yeah, I think a lot of sports people are kind of that way, where they hype themselves up too much, and that's not exactly the BDE that I think we're all thinking about.
The BDE that we're talking about is, say, somebody like a Jerry Rice, right? They don't have to talk a lot, in his career. He let the work do itself.
Yeah, yeah. Look at Jerry
In my
Rice
opinion.
or Steve Young you know. Didn't really have to talk about it. Just go out there, do your job, become one of the greatest sports people out there, and just or like a Joe Thornton, right? Like no one ever hears Joe Thornton say anything, but when he comes onto the ice, it's like, oh shit, that's Jumbo Joe, right? That's Big Joe, and you're kind of like you just they just instantly get that respect. They don't ever have to say anything about it. They don't have to come. They don't have to like say, look at me. It's just like you just walk on, and you're like, holy crap, that dude's got it, you know. So
What are some of those other traits, though, besides the coolness and the bravado of what Joff and Jay said, Waldo?
I think part of it is also like very competent at what you do, you know.
That's great. I love that answer. Expound on
Like
that real quick. Yeah.
like you know just I think I think part of it is the fact that you know what you're doing, right? You know what you're doing, and you know how to do it very well. You know, it could be anything: glass blowing, knife making, you know, something like that. You have something that you're very good at, and you can do it. And you know, when you're in your element, you got that swag that says, you know, no one can touch me, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Black
Yeah,
belts, like they're the fucking nicest people
right.
that you fucking come across, dude. Fucking,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
super chill. They're fucking nice.
I didn't catch who you said. Who?
Black belts.
Yeah, black belts.
Got you.
Is
Okay,
they're
got
just
you.
fucking. They're the nicest fucking people.
Hmm.
Even though they're fucking kicking your ass, they're fucking laughing and shit.
Yeah,
It's like it's
Hey,
fucking funny.
you know what's kind of true that you just said right there? Like, most people that, and I call, I'm going to use the term that the kids are using nowadays, I call cap. You know what I mean? On these guys that, oh, I'm a black belt and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's like,
Dude, black belts don't say they're black belts.
yeah,
There's
exactly, right?
I never.
I don't have to tell, like, why am I even going to bring this up?
hmm
You know what I mean? Why am I even going to bring this up?
yeah. I used to work with a dude who had to apparently he literally apparently has to register to get his black belt, and you know for like living weapon kind of thing. I mean, this was like ages ago, and he would never talk about it. He was a black belt. He would never ever talk about it. But every once in a while, you know, while we're chatting about his martial arts, he'll you know, one time he brought it up, and you know, we were just talking about it and chatting about it, and he never would bring it up. I mean, I knew the guy was really good in martial arts. I knew he had a black belt, you know, just because I knew him for a very long time. But he only really just brought it up like once, that he had to register with the police. I was like, what? I didn't even think that was a thing. Apparently, it's a thing. Like in some jurisdictions, like not San Jose, but I think it was like Mountain View or something like that. And I was like, holy crap. And yeah, it's stuff like that. Like he never really had to say anything. I would be the one who'd be like, hey, when we go to this bar, you can literally kick everyone's ass in here, right? And he's like, well, yeah. I mean, that's basically it, right? Like literally, if we ever had to if we ever went to a bar and got into a fight, this dude can literally destroy everybody in here. And it's pretty much, yeah.
Dude, fucking. There's difference. They're differences. Like some black belts, kind of like they're kind of asshole in a way, but they're kind of playful, a playful asshole, kind of because they're not really serious. They're just like fuck with you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, but yeah, but in general, they're pretty chill, dude. Because well, from my experience, like they'll never give you that black belt if you're kind of a hothead. You'll stay at a certain level.
That makes sense.
They'll never promote you because like, if you're kind of a dick or you're just fucking wrecking lower belts, like you're just wrecking them. You're not even helping them get better. Like
Mm-hmm.
you'll stay. They'll never promote you. So it's not just skill that makes you how you carry yourself.
Because it's really a state of mind, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's really a state of mind. Like you don't, and like we were talking about, you don't necessarily have to have a big dick. It's just a state of mind. It's a state of mind of being supremely confident in what you do, letting your actions speak louder for you, you know, and not having to really just and not having to brag about it.
Hmm.
Because no one likes a bragger, No one likes people who brags.
Yep. Who I was gonna say, who are I mean, I joked about earlier about how like maybe a majority of the people that might have some BDE might be in Joff's club. So I was gonna say, let's put out some names out there. Who are people that kind of exude this? I was gonna say one guy, probably an OG, would be like say a young Sean Connery. You know what I mean? A young Sean Connery. Uh,
Hmm.
who? Jason Joff. I mean, I see Joff smiling already. So
Because every time you say Sean Connery, I keep fucking thinking about that Barbara Walters interview.
which one?
So I don't know if he can, like, dude, that one that Barbara Walters gave him like uh, all the chances to say like it's not okay to hit women or whatever,
Mm.
right? Because he had in his past, and he's he said something to the effect that sometimes they just ask for it, but not you don't hit them with a closed fist. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
All right, well, bad example then. I was only going by
Yeah,
the
no,
James
because like
Bond.
I was like, he's old, and he was like, dude,
Okay, got you.
he's yeah, Barbara Walters is just like giving him every chance to like not fucking bury himself, but he fucking did, dude.
All right, well, who would be an example then, Joff? Because if not Sean Connery, I mean, who's another guy? Pull somebody out from the club there that kind of exudes it. Or maybe here's another one. Maybe somebody that you may not necessarily be godlike attractive to people, but they exude that also. If that makes any sense, guys. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, fucking
Mhm.
rough and rugged. It doesn't have to be like fucking. You don't have to be a pretty boy.
Yeah, who exudes that? Jason? I mean, guys, this is an open thing. I mean, what's up? Just throw some names out there.
Bill Clinton.
Who?
Bill Clinton?
Wait. Okay, why? Jason, I wanted to say, why did you say that name?
Huh? Why?
Yeah, I want to hear why. Because I had another president in mind, but I didn't say his name. But I was
But
going to say it. So
because
if you said
he's
that president, I'll
because
tell you another one.
because he was president of the United States.
That doesn't mean anything. I would argue that Trump does not have BDE, and he was
He
president of
doesn't.
the United States. So
He
that doesn't
doesn't.
mean, that
Okay, yeah.
doesn't
What
mean
is it about
anything.
Clinton? What is it about
It means
Clinton for you?
nothing.
Huh?
What is it about Clinton for you?
Well, like he carried himself.
This is a setup for a joke. You're
I
not doing a
know.
good job.
I'm not. It's because he's Bill Clinton. I just said his name. I wasn't thinking of like why. I just said his name.
Well, he is the chief, right? I don't know. No, the name I was gonna say though, guys, was JFK.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he exuded that. He just looked fucking cool as shit. You know what I'm saying? He exuded that. And I think it also shows by the people that he was with and
Sure.
allegedly with and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So he had that coolness about him. He made Ray-Bans look cool. When you would see JFK like in his shorts and his Ray-Bans and shit, like he exudes that coolness. Barack also. So that's why when Jason said Bill Clinton, I could kind of get that. I could kind of understand that, but Waldo was like, wait, really? So I wanted to know, like, well, what is it about Bill? Because apparently somebody fell for it. Right?
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay. Uh, Having that power as president of the United States, it's always going to be attractive to somebody, right? But we're talking about like we're not even talking about like the job. We're talking about the person, right? Like the person themselves has like a certain aura, right? Has a certain swag. Obviously, being president of the United States will give you a little bit of that swag. You know, everyone knows that. You know,
Yeah,
hell, CEO of like some like Elon Musk. Someone's definitely going to be attracted to him just because he's the president, or he's the CEO and of Tesla and all that kind of stuff. But does he have big dick energy? Hell no, dude. This motherfucker is like, he's a petty little bitch. Especially if you looked at Twitter this past week, that dude is like, that dude's got Bernie like living rent free in his brain. So it's like, come on, man, you know.
shout out to Kid Flip. Shout out to DJ Adequate and stuff. They were talking earlier about the black belt stuff too, guys. So shout out to you guys. But Kid Flip here, he was talking about somebody that has BDE. I don't know if he was joking or not. He said Steven Seagal. I don't know if Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal?
Nah,
No.
hell no.
Nah, hell no. Hell no. His characters in his movies, you could argue, sure, for reals. But in real life, no, dude. That dude is like, nah. He ain't got it.
This is one person that I was going to say maybe he exudes it on screen, kind of, sort of. But I think he also exudes it in real life, too. Jason Lee from Kevin Smith fame.
Oh, Jason Lee?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
You know, started off as a professional skateboarder, actually, before he got into acting and all that. So he was already on that. He kind of had a coolness about him.
Yeah.
Kind of had a coolness about him. So that's somebody that I'm, you know, and again, we're not necessarily saying that these people have big dicks.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
talking about the energy that they project. Let's switch it up real quick. Joffrey. Let's bring it to the women real quick. Joffrey, who is a woman that exudes BDE?
Selma.
Selma Hayek?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I can see that.
What? Okay, why Selma Hayek, Joff?
You know,
She's pretty humble too, I think.
she's
Right?
not out here fucking wilding out. You know,
Yes.
she's not out here fucking sucking multiple cocks and shit.
Double.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh my god. Jason, who is a female out there? I'm sorry, I you know, who's a lady? Who is someone out there that exudes that BDE for you as well?
Fucking
That's
guzzling
easy.
shit. You know what I mean?
That's easy, man. That's Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama?
Yeah,
No, I see it. I can see it.
she got that
Okay.
energy, dog. She could if she could run Barack.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She
Well,
she
yeah.
carries herself in, like, you know, when she talks, people actually do listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's got that type of aura.
Hi, Bestie. How are you? Bestie, if you just joined us, we're talking about BDE. We're talking
Jordan
about
Grace.
We are now talking about the women that exude that. Joffrey had said Salma Hayek. Jay Jericho had said just recently, right now, Michelle Obama. Ninja, what about you? Who is a woman out there that exudes that BDE?
I think a lot of people are like would probably say like a Beyonce, or I think Zendaya is a pretty good example.
Zendaya. Okay.
Yeah, like especially for how young she is. I think she's very confident in what she knows that she can do, and how and yeah, I think the way she carries herself is very
She got Tom Holland on lock.
Hey.
yeah, and she doesn't have to say anything about it. She doesn't even have to acknowledge the fact that they're seeing each other.
Jordan Grace, baby.
Shout out to Kid Flip. He brought up Eileen Warrenos. Is that Monster? That's Monster, right?
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite picture when she's doing this. Like, you know what I mean? So DJ Adequate is back with us. How are you, Adequate? So, I was gonna say for me, guys, the great Meryl Streep.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she exudes that. You know what I'm saying? She exudes that, like, oh, like holy shit, you know, like that's BDE right there.
Mhm.
I would say.
I mean, yeah. Again, top. She's at the top of her game. She's been at the top of her game. You know.
I like how you brought up Zendaya, though. That's for the younger gen. I think that's a great pick right there, though. I'm trying to think of who exudes that for me.
Or like a Rihanna. I think a lot of people would
Oh.
say Rihanna as well.
Yes, there you go. Joff.
Um,
Any other people, Joff, that you could think of, or Jason?
The virtuous Stephanie.
Stephanie McMahon. Hey, she does have it though, right? I don't know if Waldo will agree.
See, so here's the thing. I don't really know what she's
Yeah.
like outside of WWE because it's all kayfabe, right? Like pretty much everything in the WWE is all kayfabe. So I can't even like give a good answer to that, really. You know,
You guys in the comments down there,
I honestly don't know.
let us know. Let us know who. Again, shout out to Liana. Shout out to
Oh man,
Kid
fucking
Flip.
Jordan Grace, baby.
Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
Okay, what is
She's
it about?
just thick. John.
Well, Jason's just saying she's thick, and that's
Dude.
it. Is there a real reason? Does she have that?
She's
slat?
super thick.
Is that
But
is
does
that
she
BDE? Is that the
Does
BDE?
she have it? Though?
Dude, she'll fucking kick your ass.
Does she have it though? Does she have that?
Hell
BDE?
yeah, she does.
Yeah. Well, Nia Jackson too, right?
Nah, man. Fuck Nia.
I think it's also. I mean, it's also the fact that they have to be likable, right? Because that's part of the thing is that they're not arrogant and cocky and in your face, right?
Mhm.
Liana here is saying my friends would call me Big Dick. So I believe Liana's friends saw that Liana had BDE in her, so they would call her Big Dick, which is funny. But yeah, I was thinking, I was trying to think of a younger person that might have some BDE in them. On the female side, I was just like, damn, who can I think of? But Zendaya was such a great choice. I was just like, ooh, who else can I put
Bull
out there?
Nakano.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Jason, any other names out there?
I mean, would Megan count?
Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah.
Definitely. She's probably.
Hell, I mean Lizzo too, like right up
Oh.
there.
I was gonna say Megan is probably at the top right now when it comes to some. You know, I mean, she can't do no wrong right now. She's
Mhm.
she's killing
Yeah.
it. She's
Yeah.
killing it right now.
I don't know. The hottie sauce is weak though.
It's all subjective, Joff. You know.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
all-
gonna say Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift.
Really. Why? No, wait. Hold on. See, I might. This is a good. Does she got it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Man.
I mean, look what she's had to do to get her basically get her library back. You know, like she had to fight for her library
Okay,
back.
that-
She's re-releasing all her albums. Her last she just re-released what was it, Red, the other day.
Yeah, going
And-
at Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Well, I mean, sure, I guess, but I mean that's like so old that it doesn't really matter. I mean that's not even the point, right? The point is that she took back her
Petty ass.
she took
Taylor
back her shit.
Yes.
And from Scooter Braun, and was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it my way, and dude, everyone's talking about her. Everyone's talking about the album and how it's like, it's the shit right now. I mean, it's either that or right now, what are you listening to? Right, you're listening to either Taylor Swift or Silk Sonic, right? Those are the two things you're talking about. And we're talking about BDE. That's it right there right now.
I was gonna say somebody like Bruno. That's somebody with some BDE energy right there too.
Sure. Yeah.
You know. Well, shit, Anderson .Paak too. You know,
Anderson
he's
.Paak
another
for
guy-
sure.
Anderson .Paak is another artist who, like, maybe these last, like, what, almost 10 years, it's like, I'm glad that he's finally up there. When
Yeah.
he was already up there, it's just not on that mainstream, like, breakthrough.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
He was
ceiling.
never on that main stage. Like he's been quietly in the background, putting out some amazing stuff, you know,
Mhm.
but never really getting the recognition for it. And now him and Bruno Mars comes out with this album, and it's just blowing everybody away. I mean, these two guys made 70s soul music hot again, right? Like how
parody
often
soul music, right?
how
Almost
often
that,
does that happen?
almost that parody genre.
It's like old school with modern writing.
Yeah.
That's what's so awesome about it.
I was gonna say somebody else that exudes BDE for me is somebody like a Kid Cudi. You know what I'm saying? Just that coolness about them. You know, that coolness about them. ASAP Rocky too. Another guy that just has that coolness about him.
Mhm.
Coolness about them. But yeah, I was gonna say, guys, thank you guys for hanging out with us. This is episode 117 of the Hub 408. We're talking about BDE. We're also going to be talking about things like Shang-Chi and the Eternals and nerd out over that stuff too. So we hope you guys are doing good. Just to kind of, you know, we spent about a good 36 minutes on this. Are there any? Oh, here's the one that I wanted to say. Who acts like they got it? Is there someone out there that acts like they got it? But it's like, or maybe in your opinion, you're like, you're not it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I think a lot of conservatives right now fit into that. I think they've got it right.
Name names.
Dude, like Joe Rogan, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, Donald Trump. I mean, literally all the big players, right? All of them think. Josh Hawley the other day was like, "We need to bring back masculinity," right? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that, but he's a senator from like, I don't know, Missouri or some shit like that. I don't even fucking remember. But that dude basically said that because of like the Democrats and the leftists and the progressives, that guys are like turning to porn and video games to basically like, you know, get through their days or some shit like that, and how that's not masculine, and how we need to be men again, and that stuff is ruining men. And it's like this dude, you know, went to Stanford. I mean, most of these guys went to Stanford or Harvard or some shit, and they shop at Whole Foods. Like, there's a picture of Josh Hawley over in Whole Foods. It's like, dude, are you like really talking about what's masculine when you're going to shop at Whole Foods? It's like, there's nothing wrong with shopping at Whole Foods, but here you are trying to exude this manliness, this masculinity, and you are cosplaying as a masculine man. You know, it's like it's ridiculous. And anyone who basically talks about how this is what a man's supposed to be, and this is how you're not a man, or how, or any of that kind of stuff. I honestly, I mean, that's literally it right there. That's literally the opposite of big dick energy. If you have to constantly talk about how much of a man you are, then you are definitely not it, right? You're just not it. And I think a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans, a lot of right-wingers can easily fit into that because they're so fragile. They talk about like snowflakes, and they talk about how leftists and progressives and liberals are such snowflakes, but it's really just they are the biggest snowflakes, you know? They're just it's absolutely ridiculous. I hate that I have to go into politics, but right now that's kind of the thing, you know? If those people weren't such snowflakes, we wouldn't be in this position at the moment. If they weren't so scared of people, you know, doing better for themselves, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are in right now. So,
all right, well, Getting back on track though.
Hey,
Getting back on track.
you asked the question of who doesn't have it, dude. Literally everybody on the right wing conservative side does not have it.
All right.
Literally all of them.
You know,
Kyle Rittenhouse does not have it.
that dude is such a bitch, dog.
Such a little bitch, dude. Yeah, he was mad enough to kill 2 people and maim a 3rd person, and that dude is crying on the stand talking about how he feels bad. It's like, motherfucker, you shot 3 people. You were mad enough to shoot 3 people, but you're not mad enough to fucking say that you did it for a good cause. Now you're saying that, oh, it's self-defense, and it's like, no, it's not. We see the video. It's not self-defense. Little bitch. He really is.
Well, Jay, who is somebody that thinks they have it but they don't?
Oh, I was actually at work. It popped up on my feed for some apparent reason. So, a guy on YouTube called Charlie Hits. He he just goes around trying to box people around, talks hella shit. Talk about he knocked out Mayweather Senior. He knocked out Deontay Wilder. But then there's videos of him getting his ass whooped. It's just hella funny as hell. He sucker punched Mayweather Senior, like after Mayweather Senior whooped his ass, and then he walked and Senior walked off it's shit's over, right? Because everybody's waving it off. So he turned his back, and then this fool sucker punched him in the back of the head, and he got his ass whooped. So,
wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
but yeah, this guy.
I don't know that. Fella.
Yeah, just look up Charlie Hits.
Well, I don't know if I'd want to, but
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's somebody.
This guy's super chump for sure. That thinks he has he'll after he gets his ass beat, he'll still talk crap, acting like he knocked out hella people, knowing that when you go back and watch other videos, he got knocked out.
Well, Jaffa, who is someone for you that thinks they got it but they don't?
Anthony Davis.
Okay, from the Lakers. Expound on that one.
Intriguing. I mean, the entire Lakers team right now, you could probably say that, but okay.
Yeah, that's kind of true. I like that too. But yeah, Joff, what is it about AD that does he act like he has it? That he really don't? What's up?
Hey, try to pretend he's a leader, man. Get out of here, man. Every time you fall, you got hurt. Sure. Fucking porcelain, fucking Mr. Glass. I shouldn't be talking. I got fucking two ripped ACLs.
What's up, Jesse? How are you?
I also am not a fucking professional ball player, so.
I think somebody that thinks that they have big dick energy. But they don't. And I think that there's proof of, well, not proof, but patterns of behavior, things don't add up. I think it's Drake.
Interesting.
I think it's Drake. I mean, of course, you're gonna love the whole, if you're a Drake fan, whatever. Like, hey, it's Drake, but it doesn't really do well with the females. I haven't seen him. I think maybe that pipe game suck or something like that, because it seems like ladies are not going crazy over this dude. You know what I'm saying? From Rihanna all the way to the last mom he dated and whoever he's dating now. You just took this bitch out on where did they have their dinner at? Was that in
Dodger Stadium? Was that the Dodger Stadium thing?
Damn.
She probably sampled it. She probably sampled that package.
CLB, dog?
I don't think he got it, dog. I don't think he got it. I don't think he got it. That's just me. I was gonna say too. I don't know why I thought of this name, Kendrick Perkins. You know what I'm saying? He's someone who he thinks he's the shit. He thinks he knows, but it's like, you ain't no shit, boy. You don't know shit. He's another guy. So I was gonna say, I know some people here have a heart out in a few. So let's get to some nerdy stuff real quick. Everybody here, I think, has seen Shang-Chi, correct?
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, right?
Shang-Chi.
So, I was gonna say, Jay, what was your thoughts? You saw it in the theaters. I think you and Ninja saw it in the theaters. I saw it last night. You know what I mean? So, what was your take on it?
So my first take on it was, for me, I kind of ruined it for myself,
Why?
because I saw the final trailer.
Oh,
So for me, I still like the movie. It's just that I kind of screwed myself over that I saw the trailer, so I was trying to figure out at what points did these lead into the finale. So I was like, okay, got
Mm.
it. But then I ended up watching it again, like
just recently?
yeah,
When
just
they?
recently over the weekend.
Okay.
So I ended up
Okay.
watching it. I was like, okay, I dug the movie completely. It's like for people out there, without ruining the movie, it's like if you take a Beijing full on martial arts film and then you give it to Marvel. That's pretty much what you're getting.
It's the Panda Express of a Hong Kong Chinese
Yeah.
wuxia movie. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Americanized. It's a thing.
yeah. And the only thing that was so weird to me was watching Tony Leung as a villain, because I'm
Mm.
always used to seeing him
Yeah, yeah,
as the hero. So it was
hmm
just so
hmm
weird. It
yeah.
was just so weird to me. So
But even his hero isn't exactly, or even his villain isn't necessarily like a
yeah,
villain, right? Like
he was just
And that's what I was
misguided.
kind of
He's
confused
misguided
off
and
of,
misguided.
misled.
guys.
He's misguided. Yeah.
That's what I was kind of confused of. There was no real villain really
Right.
in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Joff, what were your thoughts on it, Joff? Because me and you, we saw it late. What were your thoughts when you saw it?
Yeah, it was cool. I wasn't. I didn't have any expectations. I just wanted to be entertained, and I wasn't thinking like I wasn't really. Yeah, there's no expectation. There's no. I don't have that weight on me, like or expectation that since this is the first Marvel movie with a predominantly Asian cast or whatever, all that it's it's not fair to say baggage, but it's kind of feels that way sometimes when you discuss it.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the same thing with like Black Panther, right? Like
yeah,
it's kind of
I
unfair
just yeah, I
to
just
saddle all your expectations onto
yeah,
like
yeah.
a movie to
Mm.
represent you.
So
It is unfair.
yeah, that's probably why it's good that they didn't, at least for me, like they didn't release it at on Disney Plus. I didn't see it at when it opened. I just
Mhm.
kind of had some time to like uh you know have
Yeah.
that wave die down, and then I could see it for you know what's intended to be. It's like to entertain, which is it's pretty cool. All I wanted to be was entertained, and I was. I didn't
hmm
I didn't try to critique it how well they did stuff. Like I just wanted to turn off my brain. I just wanted to be entertained. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
My
Some
boy
funny moments.
Ricky over here saying he should play more villains. I guess Tony Laring should be playing more villains. Which, I mean, yes, I think he's at the point in his career where he could play a villain and it'd be okay. But I remember when he was doing that. What was that movie? Hard Boiled, right? Opposite Chow Yun Fat.
Yep.
Yeah,
A lot of people were like, "Oh no, he's going to be playing a villain. That's not good."
No,
Because
but that's the thing too. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
but like I said, I think he's at that point of his career where he can definitely branch out and do like different kinds of roles and explore things a little bit. And like I even said, he's not necessarily a villain in this movie. He is misguided,
Mhm.
and honestly, those are probably the best villains, right? Like a lot of people say Doc Ock is the best villain, a Spider-Man villain in all the movies,
Mm. Mm.
and he is kind of a misguided villain, So
I really I was actually really looking forward to seeing it.
hmm
I thought that it was I think also what Joff said about that burden of it being so heavy, of like you're hoping to have something that'll represent you and stuff. I think Marvel's done a pretty good job in trying to cover bases, but I think a lot of people were kind of also expecting this to be our Black Panther for Asian folks. Like, all
Mm.
right, this is gonna be the Black Panther. We're gonna destroy it at the box office. We'll do just as good. So I think when those expectations weren't met, people were like, is it really as good as it is or not? So going into that, I was also seeing a lot of articles, kind of talking smack about Aquafina, talking about she's, appropriating black language with the way that she talks and all that stuff.
I mean,
You know,
that's been a criticism of hers for a very long time, right? I
right,
mean, that's
right. But
something that a lot of
especially if
people
they're
have been
going to bring
saying.
it into a movie,
Yeah.
they're talking about, yo, we should cancel. People are calling to cancel certain folks. So me going into this movie, those were the two standouts that were going, and I didn't see any of that.
I don't.
No,
That's
no,
I
yeah.
didn't see
No,
any
I
of
didn't
that.
either. No.
that's kind of.
I just saw Aquafina as somebody being from the Bay Area, and she talks exactly how everybody else talks out here in the Bay Area. I know she is an East Coast person.
Yeah,
You
Mhm.
where
know,
did she
I've
grow up? Like,
yeah,
Queens.
yeah, she was born here, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. See, it's like you live in New York. That's your environment.
That's your
Yeah,
accent.
yeah.
That's your
You
accent. That's
talk
how you
that way.
sound.
Mm.
What? Why? It's. I don't think she's appropriating anything where she grew up in that environment. That's just how she grew up. I
So
don't
again,
think.
going into this movie, hearing all that, I didn't see none of that. I thought, first of all, I think it's also kind of cool how this is what maybe we don't really get a lot of love on the West Coast, except for things like Iron Man, Ant Man. We have us now with Shang Chi being there. I don't know in the comic book, so if it was in Chinatown in San Francisco in the comics, I always thought it was in the East Coast. So I don't know where
He's all over the place, but
he
in
was. Kind of, yeah.
the Jean Yun Lang run, it was in Chinatown. The Jean
Oh, okay. So
yeah, that was set in Chinatown.
okay,
I mean,
gotcha.
it's the
Okay,
story. The movie doesn't follow the book at all. Like the stories are completely different in that run. But this is more of an origin story anyway. So and I haven't honestly read any of that. But he's from like wherever. He doesn't really have like a
well,
set
just
place.
going back to my take on the movie, there was one point though, guys, and I feel kind of bad though. I did fall asleep for maybe about 15 minutes. I don't know if because I just did two baby showers back to back. I don't know if I was super tired, but
Mm-hmm.
I fell asleep. I think right when they were trying to get to the place,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
they were guided by Trevor and the animal, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like trying to go to the place. I think I might have fell asleep there. So when I woke up, they're over here ready to fight, and I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, I don't think I missed too much because
No, you didn't. That was like 5 minutes. I would, well, maybe not
yeah.
5 minutes.
So
That's like 10, 20 minutes actually. It's a pretty lengthy bit of time that you missed.
so here's a question that I wanted to ask. I say all that to get to this. Now we're on a Filipino app. And us Filipinos here, we love our mythological creatures and all that stuff, right? So I hope I'm asking the right person. Waldo, though, the creatures that they showed in there, they had some kind of historical significance to maybe those are the monsters that you grew up hearing about or something like that. How accurate was that stuff? I just wanted to hear your take on that.
So like the Kirin, the horse looking thing is an actual thing. It generally like okay, when you see statues of it, it doesn't really look like that, but that's actually a thing. The lions for sure are a thing. You can go
The
to like
lions were
all
my favorite, guys.
the
The
lions are
lions
definitely
were
a thing. You can go to like
definitely my favorite out of all the animals. Those lions were
yeah,
awesome.
like any gate that's like any kind of gate type place will or doorway or something like that. They'll usually have those lions hanging out.
In pairs,
Um,
usually too, right? In
in pairs, they're
pairs.
always in pairs. The fox creatures for sure. Like I mean, obviously you see them in Pokemon, the nine-tailed foxes. Uh, that's an actual thing. Um, The Phoenixes again. We've seen those. But the weird faceless creature, I've never seen it. I've never
That's
seen
what I
anything
wanted
like
to
that
ask you
before.
about.
But here's the thing: I looked it up. I did some research, and they are an actual creature from like the warring period of China, right? Like it was stories written from back in those times.
Mm.
There are descriptions of the creature like this: 6 legs, wings, no face, that kind of thing. It's an actual creature from actual Chinese mythology.
So weird.
But
What a
I've
weird
never,
creature.
but I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. My mom actually watched the movie the other day over the weekend with me, and
Okay.
and she was like, "I've never seen this thing before either," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, I've never seen it either." All those other creatures, for sure, we've seen it. We've seen them before. They're around. There's statues of them and stuff like that. But yeah, I've never seen that guy.
What was your mom's take, real quick?
On the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, but she's not really into movies like this in terms
Well,
of like
The only reason I ask is
super
because
fantastical.
okay, because the only reason I ask is one time I took my mom to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Yeah.
I thought that was not going to work out well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was mainly okay. I think there's a lot of parts of it where she's just kind of like, "What the fuck am I watching?" kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's generally okay. I think the fact that there was a lot of Mandarin in there, even though we're not mainly Mandarin speakers, I think she was fine with that. I mean, I threw on the Chinese subtitles for her to watch it, so it was fine. Yeah, I think she was just like enjoying the fact that there's a Tony Leung in this movie. So
Awesome. Guys, what were some Joffrey, let's start with you, then Jason after, and we'll get to Waldo, then me. What were some standout moments for you of that movie? Joff, you talked about you were entertained. What were some entertaining parts for you?
First off, his Jordans were trash. I don't know why he's fucking wearing those Jordans.
I didn't even notice which ones was he wearing.
They were fucking trash. The Jordans that he was wearing the whole time.
I didn't even recognize he was wearing J's, dog.
It's fucking trash.
All right. Okay, so you weren't entertained by his Jordans. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
But he's wearing Jordans. It's kind of hip. It's kind of cool. It's very Bay Area, right?
No, it's just fucking, those are just like fucking the remix. They're not even, they're just.
Oh, they weren't the real J's.
Yeah, they're the fucking Access or whatever fucking. Well, just fucking wear fours or wear some cement fours or some shit. I don't know, but that's just nitpicking. But
well, the ones you enjoyed, the parts you enjoyed.
Well, maybe his character can't afford actual Jordans. The dude's a valet driver living in a fucking 1-bedroom, or not even a 1-bedroom, a studio apartment in San Francisco.
It's a garage.
The rent on his apartment has to be like $2,500 a month. You think that guy can afford a Jordan on his salary?
No, he's going to Chic, huh? He's going to Chic, and he's buying the.
There's no way. There's no way that he's. There's no way
he's going to Chic.
Or just wear fucking Vans, dog.
Hey, if he wore Vans, he might have sold a lot more, right? He could have sold some Vans.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
Some Vans old skate highs. The favorite, it's fucking the bus scene, of course.
I mean, the bus scene, everyone is like, oh, obviously, yeah.
But like, a lot of the scenes with, like the father-son scenes, obviously, that kind of gets me when they went to that dude. Well, he wasn't there, but when they try to confront, when they're in the fucking gambling shit, and he took his son.
Gambling hall, yeah.
He took his son to like fucking. All right, we're gonna wreck some shit. and he's just there, fucking in shock. It's like he never seen his dad so mad. And I think that's the first time he saw his dad wreck fools.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right, Jason. What about for you? What were some of your standout moments?
For me, it'd be when when they went to the underground arena in Macau. That's one.
Mm.
And then
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
And then I don't know why, but it interested me more that when Michelle Yeoh was explaining the history of their mother's hometown. So
See, that's a part I might have slept on right there.
Yeah, I think
I
you
got to
did.
rewatch that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think you did.
you missed out on a couple few things there because it was like
Yeah.
and then the other one would be when Shang and Katie are at the lake talking at night.
Oh yeah, that
That's-
sentimental moment. Got
Yeah.
you. All right. Ninja, what about you? A few standout moments for you.
I mainly like the quieter moments that everyone has, right? Like what Joff said, the father son moments. Like the one part where
Yeah, me too.
they're at the dinner table, and I actually like the part where Tony Leung is talking to Katie at the dinner table and talking to her about the family, her name and,
Her
and
name,
all that kind
yeah,
of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
So I thought that was a great scene. I liked when there or during the fight scene at the end where Tony Leung and Shang-Chi are fighting, and he goes that basically you let your mom die, you stood at the window kind of thing. It's like it's one of those things where it's like that's definitely an Asian parent right there.
It hit home.
Oh yeah, there are definitely a lot of like little things that kind of hits home in terms of like how an Asian family would be, or like in the very beginning when Shang-Chi goes to Katie's house for breakfast and they're hanging out and stuff like that. It's a lot of those kinds of things where it's kind of like, oh, it's really Asian. The fact that they took the time to show him taking his shoes off before going into the house, I thought that was actually really cool. I mean, there's like these little cultural
Nuances.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, where if you're an Asian person, you
Hey,
probably
yeah, you know
notice
the
it.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you take off your shoes, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, look at that. And something like that would not be, as something like that would probably not be talked about outside of an Asian like group, right? But for like us or for like Asian people, seeing something like that, it's like, oh, I like that they included that. I like that they include these kind of little things here. And so those are the kind of moments that I really enjoy, are the little moments where they kind of talk to each other. And I think that's because that's kind of the point of this movie, right? Is familial relationships, which is a very Asian thing, right? Like at least it's a very Chinese thing. How you deal with family and how you deal with like parents and what their expectations are of you and stuff like that. It's I was watching it the second time, and part of me was like, oh, dude, this is like basically China and Hong Kong right here. Because you basically have like the parental figure trying to like mold the son and daughter into a form that they like and stuff like that. And obviously the kids are trying to find their way and break out of the mold and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, any of those little character moments I think are really nice.
Going back to you talked about the scene at the breakfast table.
Mm-hmm.
How it was very it was very Asian, right? It was very, but the one little
They're eating
thing-
porridge. They're eating porridge
Yes.
too, which is a very Chinese thing. like right
The
off
one
the
thing I
bat.
like, the one thing I like there is when the grandma said, "When are you gonna marry?" You know,
Right? Oh
yeah,
my God! How often do Asian parents or grandparents do shit like that? Oh my God!
yes,
That
right,
part
like
was like,
yeah, it's like, oh, when are you gonna marry? And then he's like, no, we're just friends,
yeah,
right? Like, how many Asians have probably said that in their households to their
yeah,
grandmas, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I really like that. And I know you guys probably looked up all the Easter eggs or references. I love the fact that they reference things like the Jackie Chan jacket move,
Yeah.
you know, the whole Rush Hour thing, how they're fighting on the bamboo platform
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Of
I
course,
mean, Macau
the
looks like
fighting
Macau.
was yes. The fighting was just a lot of times we don't look at fighting styles because it's a Marvel movie. We
Hmm.
don't see the technicalities and stuff like that. And if this guy is supposedly the best martial artist ever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just it's like you gotta watch. It's like you may even might have to rewatch that stuff to appreciate all the stuff that he was doing.
Mm.
You know, at one point, I mean, I'm gonna take, you know, as a Filipino man, I'm gonna go and take, some credit with certain things. So, the fact that he's over here using different styles, like, when he had that scream, he was using that screamer style. When he had the two bars in his hand and in the bus, that shit was dope. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That shit was dope. I love the fact that they showed him training as a kid, and all the sacrifices of like this kid's getting bloody knuckles, you know, for training, and you know the dad got to be hard on him, but it's like, yo, if you got to be the best, you got to go through this. I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah.
I love the sister aspect
Hmm.
too. I don't have any brothers or sisters. I have, like my brother, like Jason, but I don't
Hmm.
have a direct link. So sometimes the things that I don't have in life, things like that, make me like, damn, I wish I had a real brother or a real sister, because I love the fact that that sister said, I waited 6 years for your ass, yo,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you broke my freaking heart, and it just set her off on the, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, like, oh, my dad don't want to pay no attention to me. I love the whole golden daggers aspect of that. That shit was so dope. Um, I could talk about a few more other stuff, but I'm just trying to make
Uh,
sure I get on time.
I'm gonna say her ending in the post credits. Big dick energy right there.
Hey, straight up, straight up, guys. Real quick, because Jason got a hard out at 11, and we might, but I was gonna say real quick. Hold on. Joffrey earlier nitpicked about something that he didn't like. What were the things that you guys did not like about this movie? Joff, let's start off with you. You said the shoes at first, but was there anything you didn't like about this movie, or what's up?
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Nothing really. I just wished I'd seen more of fuck, who's that dude that died? He fucking went out like a sucker. Like got soul sucked.
Death dealer.
Yeah,
Death
Death
dealer.
Dealer. I just wanted to see more of that dude.
Oh, very cool. He looked awesome, right? He had BDE.
Yeah,
That guy.
he's like, I wish I'd seen more of him because he looked fucking super cool,
Yeah.
and he was prominent in the trailers. I thought there was gonna be more of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he got fucking soul sucked.
Yeah,
That's
and he's an actual named character as well, from
Yeah.
the comics and stuff. Yeah.
But he definitely radiated BDE. You know what I'm saying? For sure. That guy had it. Uh, Anything else, Joff, that you might have not liked about the movie? What's up, Adequate? Hello again.
no, that's yeah. Like I said, I had no qualms. I just like, yeah, the Jordans bothered me, and yeah, it's just that those Jordans bothered me. I was like, dude, come on.
It's all right.
It's just,
Jason, what about you? I was going to say, was there any parts? Was there anything that you wanted more or didn't like? Or
I mean, the only thing I didn't like was me watching the final trailer. But other than that, I mean, I had no problems. I had no issues with the movie. I really didn't. It's just the fact that I screwed myself over with that shit. So
got you. Ninja, what about you? Anything in the movie?
Yeah. No, my honestly, my biggest issue is that entire third act. It kind of devolved. I think that's kind of the problems with a lot of Marvel movies. It kind of devolves into a Marvel movie at that point, you know? Because a lot of like I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I feel like it's the same thing with Eternals, you know? Like most of the time, a lot of these movies are really interesting, but they always have to have that climactic, like big ass fight at the end. And this one was kind of weird to me because it's like, well, you know, you have these two peoples about to fight, these two armies about to fight. Then you get third partied by a totally different group of people, and I'm kind of like, well, this is kind of weird, and it just becomes, you know, Dragon Ball Z at that point, and I was not looking for that. You know, that's not something that I look for when it comes to a first Shang-Chi movie. You know, when you kind of like go way too big, kind of like how that's my biggest like complaint about the Superman Man of Steel movie. You know, you have these, you know, you have this entire strong character building movie where you kind of build up these characters and you flesh out who they are as a person and what their motivations are and all that kind of stuff, and then you kind of undercut all that by just throwing this big splashy fight scene at the end, and I was not into that. That's where it kind of lost me, for to be honest. Um, Part of it was also the fact that he's supposed to be the best martial artist in the world, and it becomes you know a Dragon Ball Z fight, and it's like, well, it's kind of weird to me. So that's kind of where that's kind of where I lost it, and that's why I usually say it's a pretty good movie. It's not a great movie, and that's kind of where it falls apart for me. Is that basically at that point? And it's a pretty big chunk of a movie, that entire third act. So, I mean, overall, I really liked it for what it is. And I mean, a lot of people will enjoy the fight and the special effects and all that kind of stuff. I was looking for something a little bit more muted, a little bit more subdued, especially
Yeah.
especially since it's supposed to be about a father-son story, you know. And then it gets all these different things roped into one thing, and it's like, oh, then they might destroy the world, and I'm like, okay, that's just got way too big, way too fast, you know.
Well, I was gonna say for me, you brought up the father and son relationship. I totally love that aspect of the movie. My whole thing was I just wanted a real definitive bad guy where you can just go one on one with him. So when you were talking about other things going on, you know, it's almost like the Phantom Menace. These two robots and Jedi's or whatever should not be
Yeah,
fighting each other
right.
because it doesn't even matter in the end. You
Hmm.
know, you're all being worked by somebody in the
By
end.
someone
So
else, yeah, and that was kind of what was disappointing to me, like the fact that they didn't really have a true villain for most of the movie, like it basically he's fighting against his dad the entire movie, right? And
yeah, he just had dad issues.
that's
He
plenty
just
of
had dad
that's
issues.
right, and that's plenty of conflict right there. You don't really need to do much more than that. That's a lot of conflict, and I like the fact that it's an ambiguous villain the entire time. You
Mm.
know, I like that. It's definitely much more interesting if you can kind of look at your characters and be like, well, there's a lot of gray in them, and Wenwu or whatever, the Mandarin, basically is very much that. I mean, the dude was a warlord for like most of the time that he's been on Earth, right? Like he's supposed to be immortal. He was a warlord for like 90% of the time. Then he becomes a family man, and you're kind of like, oh, that's interesting. You know, that's an interesting backstory, and I'm totally okay with the fact that, you know, he's a broken man, and I like that and that's a great way of bringing him in as a villain. He's broken. He doesn't know who he is. He neglects his children, which I think a lot of us can kind of relate to as as either parents or as sons. I mean that's a thing that we can all like look at and be and understand where that's coming from. So I think that's fine. It's a family drama. You just went way too hard at the end with the Marvelness. I feel so. That's my biggest gripe of that movie.
Got you. For me again, I just said I just wanted kind of like I don't know. It's been a minute since we've seen a bad guy, like a true bad guy. So,
yeah, even in like Black Widow, I think the bad guy was not really a bad guy, right? Like Taskmaster wasn't really a bad guy.
So that's what I mean by like I just want villains, and that just seems kind of lacking. And,
then you're not gonna like Eternals because, well, you will, but it's a lot more complicated than just here's the bad guy, go fight. It's a lot more complicated than that.
And I like flawed characters, and everyone. It also seems everyone's flawed too, right? Everyone has flaws and stuff like that. So even the bad guys, or the bad guys that they project on our screens nowadays, it's just like it just seems like we have a lot more sympathy for these guys off rip. You know, you're gonna feel like some sympathy for these guys and stuff. So.
And I think that's good. I think that's a great thing, is because then you're not just beating an empty suit, right? You're putting your philosophy out there as well, right? Like you look at a Black Panther, you have like Killmonger and you have T'Challa, and a lot of people are like, oh wait, Killmonger's got some good points. This is kind of a weird thing for me to start agreeing with, and it's like, no, that's exactly it. That's how it's supposed to be.
Maybe he was the last definitive bad dude I saw on screen in a minute. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but
Thanos was out there, right?
Well, of course, right? But I'm just saying.
But even Thanos had a gray area, right? Like even he had some kind of reason for being a bad guy instead of just I'm evil.
True. But just the actions, I guess, of that's why I always say that, I think Loki, I mean, maybe you could even look at him now as an anti-hero or whatever. But I just always thought that, like, this guy's the best when it comes to, like, he was trying to bring the Avengers down. He was trying to bring the world down. He was just, like, following orders and, hey, this is what I'm going to do. So it's been a long time since we've seen, well, maybe some of the guys from Spider-Man. Like the God, what's that guy?
Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, guys, this is episode 117 of the Hub 408. Thank you guys for joining us. We did hit that 11 o'clock though, Mark. Jay, are you Addy?
Yeah.
Addy 5000. Okay.
Yeah. So
right.
to my viewers on Kumu, thank you for staying. You can either go to Ninja Icebergs or Ron's. Jeff, are you on? No?
Nah, man.
So you can either go to Ninja's or Ron's stream to continue watching their stuff, and then I guess I'll see you guys Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
See you Friday.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Later.
Niners destroyed the Rams again, so...
Yeah, I did not expect that, honestly.
Me neither. I thought the score was gonna look opposite, actually.
For the third straight game, Aaron Donald knows who Deebo Samuel is now for sure.
Crazy.
My fantasy matchup had me with the Rams kicker and him with the Rams defense, and I was like, I think I should be able to win this, right? The kicker is pretty good for the Rams. And it turns out that it was the defense that let me win, because the Rams defense was absolute dog shit today. So I won because their defense was garbage.
Let's just say I lost because of Deebo. So, but in my thing is I don't care if I lose my fantasy game, as long as the Niners win. That's all I care about. So, yeah, it may be $100 league, but
Yeah,
I'd rather have a Niners win. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys,
All right. Take care, Jason.
take it easy.
Cool. Laters.
Later.
Well, continuing on with the Marvel talk, Joff said, well, I haven't seen it. Joff, you haven't seen Eternals yet?
No, I haven't.
Can you give us a non-spoiler, quick take
Sure.
on?
So I mean, I think we all know what the premise is, right? Like, you have these Eternals that have been around since the beginning of, well, maybe not the beginning, but like they've been around for 7,000 years on Earth, and they helped start like, what is that?
I can't even explain.
And basically, they are put on Earth to help humans. To basically guide them through civilization and basically help the world grow up and so that's the basic premise of this movie is that they've been around for a very long time, very subtly and not so subtly guiding humanity to basically mature and grow up. And what happens in the movie is that
What up, Alex?
the thing that kind of like starts the movie off is that these deviants, right? So you have these Eternals who are these godlike super beings that are that are hanging out on Earth, and they fight deviants, which are the offshoots of Eternals. Basically, they're kind of like the opposite of the Eternals, and they and to the Eternals. And at one point in time, they take out all the deviants, and the Earth is kind of like hanging out on their own without any kind of help from either side. And then a deviant shows up, and that kind of like snowballs into why are they back? What's happening? We need to solve the mystery of why these deviants are back, because they were basically made to be predators, right? They're like the ultimate predators kind of thing. So that's kind of the general gist of the story. And throughout the entire story, you kind of have it's you have this kind of like this family who's been together for such a long time, and then after a while they kind of go their own separate ways because not everyone sees eye to eye. So it's kind of like another family type movie. It's almost kind of like an Umbrella Academy kind of thing, where you have like these people who have been together for a very long time, and then they kind of like go their separate ways, and they kind of become their own people, and that kind of thing. So that's kind of the general gist of this movie. And it's I think a lot of people, well, okay, reading some of the reviews, I think the main complaint is that it's too Marvel. Because the director, I think she recently won an Oscar, right? Chloe Zhao, she won an Oscar last year, Best Picture, for like Nomadland and Nomad Land, I think is what it is.
Oh, yeah,
And
I don't know that movie.
I am absolutely not familiar with this movie at all. I'm not familiar with her style at all. And talking to some people who have watched the movie, they said that she's kind of like an early Ang Lee kind of movie, like a Brokeback Mountain kind of director, and and Marvel kind of, I guess, suppresses some of that vision, which kind of makes sense. Because if you think about it, you're hiring you've hired somebody who's an indie filmmaker who has her own vision, and then you kind of marvelize her. And I think a lot of people are kind of angry that it's kind of wasted. That you've wasted a Academy Award winning director on a Marvel movie by snuffing out her vision, right? But because I'm not that familiar with her work, I didn't really get that. Other than that, I think a lot of it is. I honestly think Okay, so the biggest complaints I have about this movie, and why I think a lot of reviews from critics are pretty negative, is that it's a little meandering. You have a lot of characters that kind of don't do a whole lot, right? Like you don't really get a whole lot of time with a lot of the characters. Like Gemma Chan, Cersei, she's the main character, but then she's joined by Icarus, she's joined by Sprite, Kingo, Thena, Makari, Druid. You got like 10 people, right? That they kind of introduce, and they kind of rush through that a little bit in a way, or maybe not rush through it, but they don't give them enough time. Um, and I won't say they rush through it because the movie itself is kind of a very slow burn, right? So Chloe Zhao, from what I can tell, is she's a very methodical. Her movies are methodical, very deliberate, very slow. It lets you rest, you know, after going through certain scenes. It lets you. It kind of comes down a little bit. Some people might say it's boring. Some people might say it's too slow. The pace is not. It's not a fast paced movie, right? There's a lot of like character development type stuff, or as much as there can be with you know
In a
eight
Marvel movie.
in a Marvel movie with like 8 different characters where you're introducing them for the very first time. So you're kind of like, what are these guys all about? I still don't really know what they're all kind of about. And then there's like chunks of info dumps. Like there's one part in the middle of the movie where it kind of just info dumps you, where it's like if you don't know anything about the Eternals, they'll just drop all this stuff out there, and you're kind of like, wait, what the hell is going on? Um, that being said, you don't need to read any of the Eternal stuff, I would say. You don't need to be that familiar with it. I actually had not read any Eternal stuff before going into the movie. And then after the movie, I picked up the Neil Gaiman book and I just read that really quick just to see what it's about. The Neil Gaiman stuff or the Eternals comic book stuff, way weirder than the movie. I'll say that.
Mm.
The movie's kind of weird. You get to see like celestials and shit like that. And you're kind of like, what the fuck is going on, right? I mean, there's some really breathtaking images. There's some really amazing cinematography. Um, but then there's also parts where it's kind of like, why are we doing that? Why did you make your choice like this? And it's kind of weird. So there are some moments where it's absolutely breathtaking and amazing, and there's some parts where you're kind of like questioning why they did what they did. So I think that's why it's kind of a weird mixed bag, and why they say that it's like the lowest rated movie from Marvel. I honestly don't think that's true. I honestly think Thor: The Dark World is a worse movie, right? Like Thor: The Dark World was to me not a great Marvel movie. Was it fine? Sure, it's fine, but I don't give a shit about Malekith.
Chris,
Who the hell cares about Malekith, the Dark Elf, and what he wants to do? Because you don't even know what the hell he's. I still don't really understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to fight the Asgardians. Okay, sure, whatever. You know, I honestly thought that movie was not that great. Is it worse than that? Absolutely not. It is. Eternals is definitely not at that level. I still think Iron Man 3 is not that great of a Marvel movie. It's not at that level. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I haven't really thought about where I would put it, but it's definitely in the middle somewhere. And it's not. I don't think I would put it bottom five. But again, I'll have to look at all the Marvel movies and all the Marvel properties and figure that out. I honestly don't think it's that bad. I think the critics are just kind of marveled out, to be honest.
all right. Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, well, thank you for that take. I was gonna say, Eternals. I've only known that stuff because of the whole. Is that God? Guys, I'm thinking of the blonde-haired guy in the Marvel books. Who was? What character was that? Is that Icarus?
Icarus,
Was that
yeah. Hmm.
the guy that looked like He-Man? Right.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know, guys. Maybe that was just me, and I'm all for changing characters up. But like that guy, maybe back in the days, to me as a kid was just so like you only. That was the first face I saw when they talked about Eternals.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So then again, I just thought this movie might be on a scale to where I don't know if you could do something like this. Maybe like an Inhumans. I don't know if it's doable or if it's even filmable and stuff like that. So.
I
Um,
mean, I haven't watched the Humans TV show. Like, I just never got around to it. And obviously, reading all the stuff, it seems really weird and very like not a great show. So maybe I'll check it out one of these days. But Eternals is definitely one of those films where I think they could have gone weirder, and I think that might be another. Like some of the more nerdy reviews, like some of the people who are hardcore comic book fans, like professional reviewers, kind of that was kind of one of their complaints was that it's not weird enough, you know. And Eternals is weird as shit, dude. Like it's super weird. Like I just read the I read the Neil Gaiman stuff, and it is fucking bizarre. And you look at the designs from the Kirby era of Eternals, because
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, you know, Eternals was not a part of the Marvel universe, right?
Yep.
It was its own thing, and then later on, it got folded into the Marvel universe, and they kind of like had to build a story around who they are and how they fit into the whole history of Marvel. And if you ever look at the designs for Eternals, it is weird as shit. It is super weird. You got these blocky ass giants, and it's kind of like, what am I looking at? You know. So it's very imaginative, is how I'll put it. The Eternals movie doesn't necessarily touch on that as much as they could have. Like I said, they do have Celestials that show up, and it is awe inspiring when they show up. And I really do feel like they're just testing the waters to see, hey, we might bring in Galactus pretty soon, based on how they're showing, you know, the Celestials and what they're doing. Yeah, this might be a test bed for Galactus, is all I'm saying. When it comes to that,
Crazy.
yeah, but it's honestly really good. The post credit scenes are really good. I feel like Kit Harington definitely could have done more, but they are for sure setting him up for more stuff later on, because he's in one of the post credit scenes. There's another character that they introduced in one of the other, because they have two post credit scenes, and one of the characters they introduced, I'm kind of like, I can't believe this person is playing it. I won't spoil it, and I cannot believe that this is the character that he's playing. It is kind of weird.
Well, can't wait to see what that reveal will
Yeah.
be like, and hopefully they I don't know how long it's been out in the theaters and stuff, but
Last week it came out last week.
it just came out last week, so
Yeah, yeah.
it'll probably go on for another month, right? For about a month.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So, well, shoot, there you go. Thank you for that review, real quick. I was gonna say we got about 30 minutes left. Did you guys want to go into recos maybe? Anything else that you guys wanted to touch on?
What did I want to talk about?
Joff? What's up, Joff?
No, I haven't been really watching anything. I got no records.
All right. Well, okay.
Oh, I do have a reco. Well, I don't know if it's real. I guess it is a recommendation, kind of.
All right. What's it? What?
So I watched that. I watched that movie Love Hard on Netflix. It's the Jimmy O Yang, Nina Dobrev rom-com movie.
Okay.
So I say it's kind of a recommendation. I in general I enjoyed it, but the premise is actually kind of weird and, well, not weird. It's kind of creepy and kind of terrible. Basically, Jimmy O Yang. I don't know if you know who he is. He's on Silicon Valley. He's the nerdy Chinese guy in Silicon Valley. He was also in Crazy Rich Asians. He is not the most conventionally attractive Asian man out there. He looks like, you know, my cousin kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
The fact that his last name is O Yang is actually my cousin's last name. I have cousins with the last name O Yang who live in Hong Kong. This guy, Jimmy O Yang, is from Hong Kong, and I'm like, are we somehow related to him? I have fucking no idea. Anyways,
Right.
that's neither here nor there. It's a little creepy, though. But the premise of this movie is that he basically goes on like a Tinder type app and uses his friend's picture catfishes Nina Dobrev, and he lives in New York, she lives in LA. They have this like instant, they have this connection and all that kind of stuff, and then she just says, fuck it, I'm gonna fly over to New York, Lake Placid, to see him for the holidays. Turns out, obviously she got catfished, and hilarity ensues. So the premise itself, kind of terrible, kind of shitty, right? And that's kind of why I don't know if I can really recommend it, because that kind of thing is kind of there the entire time. But the actual movie itself is, if you can get past that, it's actually really fairly entertaining. And the fact that it's
There you go.
and the fact that it's a non-conventional Asian person playing the lead is like it's interesting. It's good because growing up as an Asian person, I never really thought of myself as a very attractive type person. Then you contrast that with all the other Asian people that are getting play right now. You got your Steven Yeun, you got your your John Cho, your Daniel Day Kims. These are some really attractive people, right? So Henry Golding. Yeah, you got these really super attractive Asian guys, super ripped, and it's like, yeah, get yours. That's great. It's. I mean, we can go into the whole history of American cinema and how they treat Asian men. That's a thing that we can talk about. But for a very long time, Asian men weren't really looked at as attractive and weren't really looked at as as viable. They weren't even looked at as men, for a very long time. So the fact that you finally get all these like a deluge, I would say, of like Asian guys. I mean, it's good to see. It's good to see. It's good. It's nice to see someone like that get up there and basically
Okay.
be a lead in a rom-com. So if you can get past all that kind of stuff. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of rom-com setups are kind of creepy and weird, right? I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like you look at The Notebook, and Ryan Gosling is basically being this guy who's harassing Rachel McAdams the entire time until he gets a date. So it's kind of weird. Rom-coms are kind of weird like that. So. Yeah, I do, but I do recommend it. I think it's a fun movie in general. Like I think Jimmy Yang is charming enough to to get you past all the creepy point and get into the meat of the whole thing. And basically, it's don't judge a book by its cover. And it's a very basic message, and it's I mean, but it's a rom com. So your plot lines, your storylines are going to be pretty thin, and everything kind of depends on whether or not you find these characters likable. And I think in general they are. I think it's I think there are some general. I think they're pretty. There's some likability to it. So I would recommend it for a watch. But yeah, it's definitely got a lot of issues where I would hope that the next rom com starring an Asian man wouldn't or whatever wouldn't go into some of these tropes.
Well, there you go. Any other recos besides that one? I know that's been kind of killing it on Netflix right now too. It's in their top 10 too.
Yeah, it's in the top 10. Red Notice is in the top 10. I haven't watched that yet. Yeah, there's a couple of movies that I haven't really watched. I did. Like I said, I did read Neil Gaiman's Eternals right after watching the movie, and it is a completely different story. Like it's the movie is definitely not based on that book at all. Like they don't really take any kind of story elements from that book, but it is still an interesting read if you want to read what they're about, and what the Eternals are about. Like there's such a weird, odd group of people. I think Inhumans are weirder, but Eternals are right up there. So
All right.
yeah.
Joff, you said that you didn't have no recos though, Joff.
No. Yeah, no. Like I said, I haven't been really watching anything. Just just been watching wrestling. That's it.
Mm. All right. Well, yeah. Well, watch some wrestling. Watch some AEW wrestling, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty much what I've been watching. So
um, actually, I do have some recos that I think is kind of cool. I checked out well, Leona had the show on, and all of a sudden I just said, hey, I'll watch it. But I was watching the second season, so I didn't even watch the first season. But I was very entertained. It's a show called Hentified.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Is this on Netflix?
I think it's maybe Hulu. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
But a very funny show. I love the fact that you know, a lot of Hispanic stories are going to be told in LA a majority of the time. But I love how there are certain aspects where they take it out of that and they bring it to the Bay Area. So to kind of
Mm.
see a small representation of the Bay Area, whether it's a big representation with other shows, or whether it's a small one, you get very judgmental. Like, oh, is that really how it is? No, we're not really like that, or whatever it is. So to see a family going through, they have a restaurant and the struggles of trying to maintain a restaurant in Los Angeles where it is becoming gentrified, and it might even be their own people doing it to them too. So,
Mm.
kind of a great show. Um, again, I think it's not really. There's not too many seasons yet. I watched a little bit of season two, or actually like the first 6 or 7 episodes of season two. I really liked it, so I was just like, damn, I got to watch season one. So
Mm.
I really, really like that. Um, I don't know if I said this again, but it kind of took me on a path to finding other stuff, or looking at more stuff. But I finally, I don't know if I talked to you guys about this, but I finally did watch Dave Chappelle's The Closer. You know,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
um, I was so entertained by that shit. He
Mm.
is he is really good. If you go and watch the whole thing, if you
Mm.
go and watch the whole thing, everything that's being said out of either context or whatever, it's more like, yo, go watch it yourself and see for yourself. In my opinion, yeah, of course he's gonna go there with some controversial takes, hot takes, or whatever, but I don't think he was hurting anybody. But to see like from front all the way to the end, it's just an amazing piece of work. So it then made it. You know how sometimes you'll watch some stand up and you'll be like, all right, let me go watch some other stuff.
Mm.
It's kind of cool when somebody just sets you on a creative path to either sparking interest in yourself to do something, or sparking interest in yourself to go look at other things that might inspire you. So I really really enjoy that show. Um, he said I think it's his last one on Netflix, so we're probably not going to see another one for a while.
Yeah.
Um, to
Yeah.
be real with you, though, these last couple of days, the last thing that I've been looking at was I did not know the severity of that whole Astro World situation with Travis Scott.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh,
10
that's
people today
10 people
total.
today. But
Total.
just looking at
Yeah.
all the things about all the weird things we were talking about, like the devilish imagery and all this other stuff, it's some
Yeah.
interest. It's very very interesting to see like how this whole thing is playing out. And I know that it's not. People lost their lives, which is fucked up.
Mm.
Which is fucked up. So it even made me like, and I'm a big Travis Scott fan too. So it made me even like, damn, I don't even know if I could even. I feel uncomfortable, listening to this guy when this guy's over here, doing his Travis Scott singing and humming and all this shit, and then there's bodies being carried out, and he's looking over them, and you're just like, what the, just like. So to see all of this playing out is very interesting, dude. It's like watching a crime go down,
Mm.
and seeing who's involved, and like people are like, yo, we pray for the victims, we feel bad for them, and this and that, right? Somebody like Drake will put out a statement, yo, we feel bad, this and that. But literally right after that event, go and drop $1 million at a club. You know what I mean? And it's like, is that where you do your, you know, again, not judging, but just calling it like it is. It's like, man, people just died, yo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? People just died and you out here. So it also makes me question of like, damn, you know, just of what would you do if you were in that situation and stuff like that. Looking at all this imagery too that he did. Now, I'm all about that creative shit. You guys know I love art. So the way that he was portraying his art was dope. At the same time, yeah, there's a lot of satanic images or images that we're not used to. So to see all of this going down and people dying at the same time, it's like, dude, imagine if you went there as a fan and all of a sudden you're suffocating, you're dying, and the last thing you see is flames going up, skulls, and all this like crazy. It's like it just weirded me out, just like watching this
Mm-hmm.
whole thing play out. So I don't know if that's a recommendation. I'm just saying it's something that I've been looking at, and it brought me to this podcast to where it was a conspiracy podcast, but like he touched on it. He goes, look, I'm not out here trying to convince you guys that there's conspiracies around this one podcast, but I'm just telling you what went down and the things that we're seeing. So it led me to listen to that podcast last night, which was very, very interesting. So to see all of this stuff like kind of play out, to see an artist that is very influential on today's youth. Yeah, I know we might be of a certain age. We may not care about Travis Scott. I don't know if you guys do, but I'm just saying like this. This artist here is
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was hella weird. And so, a maybe recommendation, Travis Scott. Oh, okay, here we go. You're done with
yeah.
Travis Scott.
I think the government was listening or something like that. So yeah, I think I don't know if it's something that you should be looking up or whatever, but man, there's just so much stuff out there and good articles. There's I think a Rolling Stone article that talks about there was a countdown, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, he's going to come out. And imagine 50,000 people just all of a sudden just moving forward and you can't do nothing about it. You're in the front and they're just moving forward within 10 minutes. I mean, the 10-year-old that died, that broke my heart so bad. Imagine you're a dad bringing your 9-year-old out there to the show. You have him on your shoulders and you're so compressed that you pass out and that you wake up and they're like, your son's already in the hospital and he's dead within the next couple of days. That was heartbreaking, bro. That was so heartbreaking to read. You know what I mean? So, and to see the fan, he really looked like a 9-year-old, a confident, not happy night. He was mean mugging the camera, like, you know what I'm saying? Like to see a little kid like that wanting to see his hero Travis Scott all of a sudden going to a Travis Scott concert is a thing that kills you.
Yeah,
That's wild, yo. This is like a tragedy. Like I just thought, like, yo, and a lot of people probably don't even care. Like, it's whatever. People got killed at a concert. It's like, yo, this is crazy. This is like it's a black eye in not only music but hip hop, in my opinion. And the fact that people just make fun of it. You hear radio DJs making fun of this shit. It's like, wow, really? People died off this shit. Like, oh, well, I guess Travis Scott's not, his new Nikes aren't coming out. And by the way, they did pull his new Nikes coming out. But it's like, you should,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You should.
You definitely should.
So, yeah, kind of a fucked up situation with that. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a reco, but that's what I've been checking out as of recently. So, yeah, again, guys, this is a Hub 408. Thank you guys for joining us. I was going to say we probably have about 10 minutes left or something like that. I was going to say, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Shit, man, that's it. Thank you guys for watching us. Yeah. Anything else that you guys want to do?
There's actually there's one thing I kind of wanted to bring up. I actually recently found out about this. It's fucking weird. So you know that guy this has nothing to do with. It's not a recommendation or anything. It's just something some news thing that I recently found out. I never knew about this. Like,
All right.
so you know Chris Dudley, right? The basketball player,
Okay.
the guy that threw the ball at Shaq, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, like him and Brett Kavanaugh used to hang out together. The Supreme Court judge, Brett Kavanaugh.
Okay.
And so I've never heard this story, but way back in the days, like in their college days or some shit like that, uh, like they got into trouble for fighting somebody. Okay, so here's the story. Like I guess Brett Kavanaugh and Chris Dudley went to a UB40 concert back in the day, like way back, like back in like whenever they went to that concert. And after the concert, they go to a bar, and it seems like someone might have spilled something on. Hold on, let me pull up the article. I just thought it was the wildest story because I was like, wait, what is this? Like I had never heard anything about Chris Dudley or Brett Kavanaugh hanging out together, and it was just the wildest story. Um, and yeah, like I said, this is a Supreme Court judge, a current Supreme Court judge who obviously is not like, you know,
Doing judicial duties.
well, who's obviously just unqualified for this position. So let's see. So it was back in 1985. um,
A young Chris Dudley.
a young. It's okay. Oh shit! Where's? Hold on. Okay, so here's what happened. Kavanaugh was accused of throwing ice at a man in 1985. This incident was first referenced in a statement made by Kavanaugh's classmate, Chad Ludington, now an associate professor of history at North Carolina State, who said Kavanaugh was often belligerent and aggressive when he drank. Ludington said Kavanaugh was trying to figure out whether a man at the bar was UB40 lead singer who would have been coming from the concert and in his 20s at the time. Ludington said the man in question was annoyed by Kavanaugh and his classmates' attention and got into an altercation with the Yale students. According to a report, Kavanaugh was questioned by police after the incident and did not say whether or not he threw the ice. Ludington said Kavanaugh cursed at the man, that Kavanaugh's friend, basketball player Chris Dudley, threw a glass in the face of the guy they thought was the lead singer of UB40. He wasn't. The man was a 21-year-old guy bleeding from the ear as a result of the altercation. So yeah, I did not know that this was a thing, and they thought that this was Ali Campbell, lead singer of UB40, and it turns out he wasn't, and they were so annoyed that he wasn't that I guess they tried to fight him. So Brett Kavanaugh, current Supreme Court judge, and former basketball player Chris Dudley tried to fight some guy back in the days.
Because he thought, or no,
Because he thought,
because they were annoyed that it wasn't.
well, they thought that it was him. They kept saying that it was him. Then they found out that it wasn't him, and I guess they got angry and they just tried to fight him by throwing glass and ice at the guy. So yeah, that dude has a history of throwing shit apparently. When he gets mad. I mean, that is his MO right there, right? Like, oh, that's Chris Dudley. He just threw some shit. Like, yes, that makes sense. That's what he does. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I just thought that was ridiculous. I did not know that was a thing. Like I did not know the story at all. I was listening to a political podcast and they were just talking about that. They just brought that up randomly, and I was like, wait. Chris Dudley and Brett Kavanaugh got into a fight back in the 80s? What the fuck story is this? So, yeah.
I like how Chris Dudley always somehow makes it on the hub in some type of way. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was really weird and very bizarre and kind of funny. So Yeah, that's my news junket for the day.
Well, there you go, guys. This is a Hub 408. Please follow Ninja Iceberg, Jofsimus, and me, Ron Sara. Thank you guys for hanging out. I was gonna say, I think we gave him enough though for tonight. You know what I mean? So I was gonna say, please join us this Friday on the Hub 408. Um, I don't know. I was gonna try to come up with something fun that we can do for Fridays. So I hope you guys can come by and check in to whoever's watching. If you happen to be watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, also. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. So yeah, this is a Hub 408. Thank you guys. Any last words, guys, before we get up out of here?
No, check out Great British Bake Off.
Well, there you go. There's another logo right there. I was gonna say, I'm trying to watch old Bob Villa videos of this old house. So that's
Okay,
what I'm
yeah. Some
trying
good
to do.
stuff right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that is good stuff, especially if it's Villa.
Bob Vila. Bob Vila.
Yes, Bob
I've been
Villa.
watching Bob Ross stuff on Twitch. Like every once in a while, they'll have a marathon and they'll just play his shit over the weekend. So I just put it on and watch him, and then go to sleep. Fall
Yeah.
asleep to his gentle brushing on the canvas. His happy little accidents.
I was gonna say, Joff, I did actually watch Full Gear last night, the AEW pay per view. So that Punk match. Well, all the matches were dope. I'm just saying that Punk match was pretty dope though too. You know, I like the crimson mask that dude had on, and how people
Like
were
the
even
John
kind of.
Cena,
I love that too. Like that was such a. Because I think this was his best program so far because it seemed believable with Eddie Kingston. If you want to see a good wrestling promo, go look at that promo he had with Punk before leading up to this. It's so good, you know. Like that's what pro wrestling's
the
supposed to
fighting
be about.
words called him a bum.
Yeah, he called him a bum, you know, and it made me really like, oh, okay, I got to see this fight. And I've never actually seen an Eddie Kingston match, you know, so to actually see, you know, to see them, it was a believable match of like, oh, dude, these guys really fucking hate each other, you know. So I kind of like storytelling where it's like, all right, I know this is pro wrestling and you're already suspending disbelief, but when you suspend your disbelief even more of like, okay, these guys really don't like each other or they're fighting like they don't like each other, it's an art, you know what I mean? So I dug that. But yeah, guys, we're out of here. See you guys in a couple of days. This is a Hub 408. Joff, you want to get us out of here? Portal us out of here?
All right, we out.
Mask up. Stay safe, everyone.
All right.